Yes.
Love that jacket.
Say it again.
All right, welcome to Speak for Yourself, the most fearless show in sports. Coming up, we'll tell you if Jerry Jones just crossed the line in dealing with the Cowboys' biggest stars. And an hour from now, I got a message for NFL players about why now is the perfect time to extend the regular season.
Message.
But we start today with Ezekiel Elliott. I'm starting to feel sorry for Zeke. As his holdout and contract negotiations continue to drag on, Zeke and his camp justifiably have turned more desperate, aggressive, and negative. A week after predicting Dallas quarterback Dak Prescott would be a bum upon signing a new contract, Zeke surrogate Marshall Faulk attacked the deal the Cowboys recently gave inside linebacker Jalen Smith.
If you think about this, and I'm not counting another man's money, but if you think about what Jalen Smith did and what he got compared to what Zeke has done and what he is asking for, it's not even close. They drafted a linebacker in the first round last year. If they thought so much of Jalen, I mean, you draft another linebacker in the first round?
Everything Faulk just said is straight gospel. Based on production and value to his team, Zeke is arguably the best running back in football.
Wow.
Jalen Smith hasn't even qualified for the Pro Bowl yet, and Dallas has a collection of inside linebackers who could replace Smith if he were injured. Smith just inked a shiny new $65 million contract. What is Zeke worth? He's certainly worth more than Smith, and Zeke is more valuable than Dak Prescott. Marshall Faulk is the perfect surrogate for Zeke. Faulk was the engine that drove the St. Louis Rams Super Bowl offenses in the early 2000s. After a 12-day holdout, Faulk signed the richest contract in Rams history in 1999. He was the MVP of the NFL in 2000 and should have won it again in 2001. Faulk believes in Elliott's cause. Faulk has witnessed the NFL devalue the running back position. Elliott's holdout is personal for Faulk, and I don't blame him for feeling that way. The narrative on NFL running backs is distorted and unfair. The NFL is paying wide receivers more money than running backs, but running backs are doing far more work than wide receivers. Ezekiel Elliott ran the ball 304 times and caught the ball 77 times last season. That's 381 touches. Saints receiver Michael Thomas, the same draft class as Elliott, and also Elliott's teammate at Ohio State, caught 125 passes last season. The Saints just gave him a new 5-year contract worth $100 million. But Zeke can't get paid. He's going to touch the football 3 times more than Thomas. He's going to absorb 3 times more punishment as Thomas. But Zeke can't get paid. There's something wrong with the system. I don't blame Zeke or Chargers running back Melvin Gordon for sitting. I don't blame Le'Veon Bell for his year-long holdout last season. You can blame the collective bargaining agreement and the rookie wage scale. It doesn't matter who or what you blame. The fact is the system isn't fair to running backs. They're still the most exciting players in football. Zeke isn't being greedy or foolish with his holdout. He's doing what needs to be done. All right, joining the desk now, our Hall of Famer, Eric Dickerson, and hopefully my choir, and Warren Sharp.
Running back.
Of Sharp Football Analysis. Sharp's making his first appearance. Love you, Warren. You got the best information in football. But Marcellus, we're going to start with you.
Yeah.
Is Zeke's holdout proof the value of running backs has been unfairly diminished?
Oh, man, you tugging at my heartstrings right here. You know you're talking to a former running back. One of the best to ever do it at the Pop Warner level. And I'm sitting right next to my idol. I only had 2 idols in sports, John Elway and this dude, because I wanted to be that guy. But let's just be real. Let's make some sense out of this. I'm sorry, running backs. I'm sorry, all you guys who are toting the rock, but your days have been numbered. And really, your shine is behind you because it makes no sense to continue to increase the value of a position that goes through the rigors as a running back does. Let me give you some examples because it's happening outside of the forest of football. And sometimes you can't see the forest from the trees, right, Whitlock? So let's leave.
We'll see. I can't wait to hear what you say here.
Let's leave football and go to the NBA when all of a sudden, because of the emergence of analytics and critical analysis of the game, the 3-point shot was emphasized. And why was it emphasized? 1, the simple math, duh, 3 is more than 2. But more importantly, man, you got to go through hell to get 2 in the paint versus there's not that much resistance out here at the 3-point line. What happened in football? All of a sudden, that long handoff turned into the short pass. And if you look
to Zeke, but go ahead.
To Zeke, yeah. And you sound like a fantasy player who's sitting there like, Zeke had 20 carries and 100 yards. Woo! And you know what your boy is sitting there? Oh, Michael Thomas has 6 catches for 100 yards. Which one's more efficient? Think about this. This is where the game has evolved to. You can now get your receivers involved in a more efficient model that is actually taking some of the physicality and rigors away. Do you want to face 8, 9 in the box like Eric Dickerson did for 4.5 yards in a cloud of dust? Or do you just want to beat the corner and the safety and see pay dirt every single time? I'm sorry, it's my position, it's my heart, but you got to evolve the passing game, and the days of the running game are behind us.
How do you sound, Marcella? You sound ridiculous.
I know I do.
Come on, man. First of all, the running back is always important to a game. If you run the football, that's how you control the clock. You control the game. If you have a top-notch running back, Dallas has a top-notch running back. Quarterbacks. But you're going to pay the bum quarterback. You're going to pay the quarterback no matter, well, he's the quarterback. He's got to make the money. That's not always true. You pay the best player. Zeke is the best player on the Dallas Cowboys football team. He gives them the best chance to win. Why don't you pay him? But, on the other hand, I understand where Jerry Jones is coming from. He has 2 years left.
Michael Thomas had 2 years left.
Ooh, there you go. There you go. But as a running back, they look at, well, if we can keep him locked in, because he knows he's going to run the football a lot. He's going to wear him out no matter what. If he gets hurt, let's say Zeke got hurt this year. You think next year they say, well, he got hurt, we're going to give him money. We're going to give him money.
You know Michael Thomas went to Vegas a couple times before. We didn't hear about it. You know why? Because he knows how to be a franchise player. Come on, Zeke, act right.
Look, Jason, I got to disagree with you on this one. Eric, it's hard for me to disagree with a stud like yourself.
Yes.
However, Marcellus is right. The running back position is devalued, justifiably so. Passing is 4 times more efficient to winning games in today's NFL than is running the football.
The one they throw the ball 4 times more.
What we
Some teams
they will eventually get to the point where you will pass to get a lead and then you will run to win the game. And more teams are going to start doing that. Passing on first down instead of running the ball on first down is substantially more efficient. So where we're going to get to in the NFL is if we end up paying these guys after their rookie deals are up, paying them a lot, teams are just going to go through and cycle through all types of rookie deal running backs and just leave the guys who want to get paid a lot of money on the sidelines because you can replace these guys. Look at Zeke. It's very difficult to separate out Zeke's production from his offensive line. It's one of the hardest things to do to separate out how good a running back is behind that offensive line. And Dallas has the highest paid NFL offensive line in the league. They've had it for 2 straight years now.
So when he catches 77 passes, we're crediting the offensive line for that?
No, teams need to pass the ball more to running backs, but you can be an efficient pass-catching running back. You don't need to be Ezekiel Elliott-style running back.
Well, the greatest alignment in NFL history is the quarterback. I mean, let me tell you, I played against Tom Brady. I played against Peyton Manning. I don't give a damn who they had up front, and sometimes they didn't have great offensive lines. But you know what? 1-2, ball gone. 1-2, ball gone. And that wears the defense down.
You know who that 1-2 in Dallas is, too?
Oh, that's 1-2.
Zeke.
No, let me finish. And you talking about Zeke catching 77 passes? You're making my point, brother. Why is he now in the passing game? Why is he now a pseudo wide receiver? Because they even know as a coordinator, I need to get this guy in the efficient model, which is the passing game.
And they also have a quarterback that's limited.
If that's the case,
don't do that.
Why don't you take the running back out the field? Just get rid of it.
Was Peyton Manning limited when he was throwing the ball to Aaron James and Marshall Faulk in his first year? Was he limited? It's not about how limited you are, it's how smart you are.
Look at the 2 best running backs in the NFL in 2017. You had Le'Veon Bell and you had Todd Gurley. Both of those guys, by necessity, had to be replaced in 2018. James Conner comes in, produces a better efficiency, better statistics behind that line than did Le'Veon Bell.
And
off the streets doing nothing.
Right? You know Pittsburgh was at home with me and you.
C.J. Anderson comes in.
Pittsburgh was at home with me and you.
That's not because of their running back, though. That's not because of the running back. And C.J. Anderson comes off the streets doing nothing in Carolina and outproduces, for a limited sample size, outproduces Todd Gurley's production.
Your key word there, limited. And that's what the key. That's why I said limited. The thing is, if you have a back, and it's not a bunch of them. It's very few. If you have a running back, they're going to use that back. The Rams use Todd Gurley. The Cowboys use Zeke Elliott. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they use Le'Veon Bell. You're going to use that guy. You're going to see the big numbers out of him. Look, I know we have a small window that we have to run between for sure, because we're not going to be that guy for 10 years. We're going to be that guy from 3 to 5 to maybe 7 years. Then you're going to see a drop-off. But you got him. You've got to pay him if you have him. I mean, as the Cowboys go, as Zeke goes, the Cowboys go.
Zeke right now is moving into his real prime. I went and looked at like Marshall Faulk, and Marshall Faulk really wasn't the Marshall Faulk that we know until age 26.
Oh, stop that. You didn't see him at San Diego State his first year?
Well,
in
the NFL.
Oh, the best player ever.
Look, Zeke is only 23, 24 years old. This is his time, and I don't blame this dude for like, hey, man, y'all not going to wait till my time is up to pay me. When they paid Marshall Faulk in St. Louis in 1999, for the next 3 years, he was arguably the best player in football, drove the greatest show on turf offense to record numbers, made them a 2-time Super Bowl appearer, won a Super Bowl. This is Zeke's time. He deserves this money in Dallas. Now, if he were playing with one of these all-time great quarterbacks or Pro Bowl level quarterback, I would be like, hey, man, pump the brakes. But he's playing with a guy that needs to dump the ball to him. And if this guy's going to get 400 touches, if he's going to take all that punishment, and they're the ones carrying the load, driving the offense, I just think this is wrong, and they need to change the system to compensate these guys.
Well, look, that sounds great in the Hallmark card, but when I'm talking about scouting report, being on defense, I'm not trying to hear this is a sad story for your position. Oh, my God, you need to get it before your prime. I understand. I become heartless. I become objective. I become a part of the meritocracy. Listen to this. If you look at them as a whole, you're like, Zeke runs that thing over there offensively. Respect to that. But you also have to respect what's the situation, what's the dynamics, what's the contracts, what's the terms, what's their offensive line. Can Dak actually be the engine for that team? You don't know that answer definitively for us to wreck and say we're going to give all our money to our running back.
I guarantee you, when you're in that scouting department, when you're in that meeting, game planning for the game, I guarantee you Zeke's the first name that comes up.
You're right.
A good example. When we played the Cowboys in the playoffs, you know what the defense was saying? 21's not going to beat us. They weren't worried about this. They weren't worried about that. 21 ain't going to beat us.
And you know what?
21 didn't beat us.
No, he didn't. He had 47 yards.
Exactly. That's it.
And you know what? They only lost by 8 points.
But it's still
hold on. You, Eric Dickerson, in your greatest games, in your biggest games, if you went out there for 20 carries and 47 yards, is it the defense or was it ED?
It depends on the offensive line.
Have you ever given performance?
I'll say this much here. I'll say this much here. Yes, I have. I've had them performances, but I didn't have a quarterback. If I'd have had a Elway or Marino, it'd have been a different look. If I'd have had a Dak Prescott, you as a running back, you always want a quarterback. You're lucky enough to get one. I know that. And a quarterback wants a running back. Elway. Let's use John Elway. Hold on. John Elway.
My other idol.
He got what?
He got 2 at the end. With who? With his running back.
But that's what I'm saying.
You're flipping it. It's what I'm saying. When you're Eric Dickerson, when you are that tremendous Ezekiel Elliott, you have to overcome the fact that there is some adversity coming your way from the defense. They're trying to stop you. Oh, they are not trying to stop you every other game you play in.
Oh, of course they
So how do you get 47 yards in the biggest moment of your career, and then months later, last seen on the football field with 47 yards, want a new contract with 2 years left? How can you have the audacity to pull that off?
You know, you're talking about, I hate to say, you're talking about, say, one game. One game. That's a big game.
The biggest
it's a big game. It's a big game.
In his 3 years, that's the biggest.
But I say again, when they're honing in on one guy, they're going to play 8, 9-man front. It's hard to run against because that's the quarterback's job.
That's not normal.
That's the quarterback's job to back him off.
When they was game planning for Bruce Smith, did they not pay him?
Yeah,
when they was game planning for LT, Deion Sanders, the man that's getting game plan for it needs to be paid. Zeke Elliott needs to be paid. Stick around. Later in the show, we'll give you our latest approval ratings for Ezekiel Elliott, and Uncle Jimmy will tell us what he thinks of the Cowboys star. And jump on Twitter right now to vote on what you think of Zeke's approval rating should be. We'll reveal the results later in the show. Also coming up, Jerry Jones' unusual